circuit in Spain, the home for the 1996 Nations Motocross. And the superb circuit laid out right around the edge of the home of the Spanish Grand Prix. The teams using the Formula One paddock and pit lane for their garages. And 25 nations here trying to clinch the title. 3 riders from each country will count for points, 1 on 125s, 1 on 250s, and 1 on the 500s. And they will run in 3 heats, combining 125s and 500s, 125s and 250s, and then the 250 and 500 finale. Only 20 out of 25 countries that have entered will qualify for the overall Nations Motocross race. And of those, 4 have automatically qualified. Spain, because it's their track. Belgium, USA and France, the top 3 last year. And they again are going to be the real favourites, those top 3 teams. Well, last year's winners, Belgium, defending the title with the same team that won it last year, riding 500s. World Championship runner-up Jos Smets, and there he is. And he'll carry the #1 on his machine. He lost the 500cc title this year in the World Championship, but is hungry for victory here. And a win in the Nations would at least give him something to take home at the end of the season. And the Belgian team in fine form in qualifying.
Belgian Championship, World Championship, and the Motocross of Nations. So I lost the World Championship. I finished 2nd, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to win the Motocross of Nations and yeah, taking that title.
Riding the 250 for Belgium, again World Championship runner-up, Marnik Beverts. He carries #2 on his machine, and after leading the season, most of the championship chase, he lost the title during the final few races.
Of course, I'm quite motivated. I'm not thinking about championship anymore, but hopefully I can win this 2 motors, and then it makes my year good.
1992 world champion Stefan Everts is riding 3. He's on the 125cc machine. 250 champion in 95 and in 96. He had a tough time mid-season, but finished very strongly towards the end of the year and looks to be in fine form. Looking for the nation's title to go with his championship.
To defend the title and try to win it again. I think the track is a little bit to the Americans, you know, they put a lot of jumps in it. And so we see what's going to happen tomorrow. It's in the TV, huh? Seems that Joel wants to win and Marnik wants to win, so the motivation is pretty strong, and we're just going to do our best and try to get good starts and ride a good race. You know, the system is a little bit different than last year, so it's also a question of good luck, you know.
Well, Belgium may lack nothing in motivation and riding talent, but certainly the team that everybody is gunning for must be the USA. They've won this 13 times in a row from 1981 to 1993, beaten in 94 by Great Britain and 95 by Belgium. They feel the trophy is theirs and they want it back. Leading the squad, 500cc rider Jeff Emig. He's the American 250cc outdoor champion this year. after beating his countryman Jeremy McGrath. He's in top form, and even if he's not really used to the 500, he knows he can do well.
I think the best thing is that all three of us won championships this year, and we all know what it's going to take to win and be real consistent and to be fast. You know, there's a lot of guys going fast this year. You know, you got Sebastian Tortelli, who's just, I mean, he's a ball of fire on his 125, and you know, there's guys like that are individually that are going to go real fast, and for us to get the low scores, you know, in which what it takes to win, you got to beat those guys. And you know, so it's a personal challenge for me riding the 500 for the first time, and you know, I'm ready to take it on. I mean, it's the biggest bike that we make. You know, it's the biggest bike that we race, so you know, it should be quite the experience.
Well, riding the 250, number 5, Jeremy McGrath, once more the American 250 Supercross champion, adding the 96 title to his trophy cabinet. Back on the nations team, and like the other Americans, his goal here is to erase any memory of the last 2 seasons.
3 years ago, and the guys have been trying hard every year. It's just, I mean, the way circumstances have turned out, and I'm happy to be back on the team this year, and I think, you know, I wasn't here last year or the year before just because, you know, we raced so much at home. But I feel good this year, and I'm looking forward to it. I want to have the trophy back to us for sure.
Riding the 125, giving it lots of air in the qualifying laps, is Steve Lamson, putting on a show. And he is the US 125cc Supercross champion. And as was mentioned earlier, lots of high jumps here. That will particularly suit the American Supercross style, rather more so perhaps than the Europeans.
I mean, he rode really well, and he's riding well here, and seems like he's done good over the season here. So I'm looking to win. I mean, I want to get out there and win. I mean, both of us won championships this year, and it's going to be a good battle. And also, Stefan Everest is going to be pretty tough too. So it's going to make for good racing. I'm pretty pumped.
Well, third in 1995, the French team are certainly very strong contenders. They're 3 riders individually immensely successful. Riding the 500 for them, number 7, Frédéric Paulet. 5th in the 96 250 Motocross World Championship after winning the last Grand Prix. He's ended the season strong and very confident. Hope I'll be able to handle the 500, he said. It's only my 2nd race with it. The big problem really will be the length of the heats. It's 25 minutes and 2 laps, so hopefully I'll be able to handle that. And if I've got no problems, then I reckon maybe I'm in with a good chance of a win. On more familiar territory, on the 250, is regular 250 man Yves Demaria, number 8. He won 1 Grand Prix this season, but had really quite a difficult year by his own standards. And some controversy regarding his selection for the team after what has not been one of his best seasons. He is really out to prove that he should be there on merit. Victory here would be great personally for me, but also, of course, for the French team. And with the 3 of us working together, if one of us has a bad race, we can help each other pull through a little bit. And I'd like to answer all the questions that were asked about my selection for the team. I think I deserve it, and I want to prove it. Riding the 125, the new 125cc world champion, Sebastian Tortelli, the youngest ever motocross world champion. And he totally dominated the European 1996 season and the World Championships. I'm going to do my very best to finish first. Last year I won and surprised Lamson. He really didn't expect it, I don't think. This year he's coming in much tougher, much better prepared, and I think it's going to be a good fight. Well, Belgium, the USA and France may be the big three favourites, but there are a few other contenders. 1994 winners Great Britain stopped a 13-year American domination of this event, and they're led by Rob Herring, number 10 on the 500, James Dobb, number 11 on the 250, and World Championship runner-up Paul Malin, number 12 there on the 125.
We're going to do everything we can to try and win this thing back. You know, we've got some good competition. The first three teams from last year obviously going to be favourites. You know, we've got to qualify now, so you know, we just want to get these heats out of the way. We're not worried, you know, whether we win or not today. You don't get prizes for heat races. You don't get prizes for being fastest in practice. So yeah, we just want to get this race out of the way and try and talk about it, you know, tomorrow.
Well, Holland should also be seriously looked at outsiders. Laan Gijsbers on 13 in the 500. He won the Dutch 500cc Grand Prix this season. Remy van Ries, number 14 on the 250. And in the 125's former world champion Pedro Tractor.
I think many riders are the same level, and yeah, the start is very important for everybody, and I think if the start is good, then we can win also, and hopefully we make good results, all three of them, then we can finish in the top 4, top 5.
Also looking for a place in the top 5 will be the German team, Dietmar Lacher, number 22, there he is on the 500, Bernd Eckenbach on the 125s, and Pit Beirer, who's been a real sensation this year on the 250.
I think we are a good team this year. Everybody won GP already in his career, so I think a top 5 position should be possible, but more we have to see how the race is going on. For me, I hope a little bit better than 5.
Well, throwing the net well away from Europe, let's look at the New Zealand team. Joshua Coppins, 21 on the 125. Daryl King, number 20 on the 250. And his brother, the new world champion, Shane King, number 19 on the 500.
One of my goals after winning the World Championship was to win at least one moto here in the Motocross of Nations. That means beating the 250s and the 125s. So if I can fulfill that dream tomorrow, I'll be a happy man. And, you know, I know I'm capable of beating everyone here on the 500 and proving to them and myself that I'm the best in the world in the 500 class.
Fighting talk from the Kiwi. Fighting talk too from the Italians. Franco Rossi, number 52 on 500. 95 World Championship runner-up Alessio Chiodo on 54, the 125. And in the 250s, Andrea Bartolini, there he is, number 53. As the organisers, Spain qualify automatically, but even with the backing of their fans, Xavier Colomet on the 125, Xavier Vico on the 250, and David Avilés, there he is on the 500, are going to have a tough time breaking into the top 10. Back with more action after this. Well, welcome back. Let's have a look at the 16 teams that went through after qualifying. The lowest score counts. You score 1 point for first place and so on down the order. So Italy have done extremely well indeed. Holland and Germany looking strong. So too Great Britain in the qualifying rounds. Of course, they go in with the 4 top qualifiers who are already through. The top 3 from last year, and Spain, the host nation. So a wide variety of different nations, as you can see, in the qualifying 16. Australia qualified. They were 7th with Mike Cook in the 125s, Craig Anson in the 250s, and Kim Ashkenazi 3rd in his qualifying heat in the 500s. And the Aussie team enjoying their trip up top, I guess, as opposed to down under, and looking strong.
Well, it's definitely a long way from Australia to come to Europe, but every year we make the trip. This is my 5th time for the Motocross to Nations, and I would like to hope that our team could finish top 10, maybe top 12, and if we do that, I think we'll all be very happy. The Motocross to Nations for the Australian team is really to try and help the sport at home, for the younger riders, to give them something to aspire to be. If we can do well in Motocross to Nations each year, it helps the younger kids look up to us and try and prove themselves to be able to come to Nations.
Now, qualifying, as we heard earlier, bears no relation to the final starting order. The grid is decided by a draw to give everybody as fair a chance as possible. And the team that draws number 1, they will start riders 1, 21 and 41, and so on down it goes.
That's equal chances, and I think it's quite exciting to see which number I have, which position I have, and you see how the team managers are acting. I think it's a good thing. Maybe in the future we could make much bigger, that even the spectators have the idea. Now is the balloting for the starting positions.
What a great idea to get the spectators to vote where everybody starts. So just missing the cut, as you can see, Croatia, Portugal, Lithuania, Hungary, and Lithuania. So let's get down to the first of the action then, mixing the 125s with the big boys, the 500s. Now, with 3 riders, each riding twice, that's 6 results. The best 5 out of 6 will count for the overall final results. And this year, points are awarded overall as well. So if you're the first 125, but you're only 10th, then sorry, they only counted as 10th in this race. Away they go, but already there's trouble at the first corner, several riders going down, and a big clash there in the melee. And in the middle of that, 2 of the Belgian riders, number 3 there, Stefan Everts getting restarted, but he's looking over to the left because Jo Smets, his teammate, is down and definitely, well, I was going to say definitely out, but he's not. He does restart, but a long, long way back. Let's have a look there. 1 faller in the middle of the pack, and down go half a dozen, maybe 8 riders, including the 2 Belgians. Out front, though, Jeff Emig from the United States, leading from number 22, Didi Lacker of Germany. Johansson 16 and Spain's Aviles behind them, but 2 more fallers. That's the Estonian Caro and Eckenbach from Germany out at this early stage. Another faller, and that is the Czech rider, Petr Zuchar. And my word, that was an uncomfortable tumble there he took. Shane King on number 19 making speedy progress, and he demotes David Aviles. First 2 stay the same. King now up into 3rd place, Aviles down into 4th. So Emig, Lacker, King, Aviles is the way they go at the end of lap 1. And battling all the way down the order, we just saw Torte and Bolle there, fighting each other at the bottom of the top 10. Stefan Everts, only 29th at this stage. And there is Torte, the new world champion, making his way up the field. Everts on the move. But from 29th, it's a long way to move up. So Emig leads. Lacker in 2nd. 3rd is still the New Zealander. But Steve Lamson has passed Britain's Rob Herring for 5th place. And Torte, well, Torte is following him very closely indeed as well. And it looks as though there's Aviles. There you go, the leaders. Very wide line indeed from Lacker. So Emig leads from Shane King and Steve Lamson in third. Lachia is fourth. And then Tortelli, Bolle, and Avilev behind him, but only just. Emig opening up his lead. But Steve Lamson closing in on the Kiwi ahead of him. Shane King on number 19 coming under intense pressure, and Lamson passes him. Lap 6, the two US riders in the top 2 places. And the battle on now for the other positions. Third is Shane King. Jeff Emig clearing off. Steve Lamson following him. Shane King in third. And here's the battle for fourth. Very close indeed between Lachia 22 and Tortelli on 9. And 7 laps in, the top 2 unchanged. Third place. Behind this back marker, unchanged. No, Tortelli has moved up. He has passed Lachia and King to take third place. So Tortelli really flying. And as Sebastian Tortelli eases away from these two in third place, the battle developing for the lead between the two Americans. Jeff Emig 4, Steve Lamson 6. And who's going to get this one? Well, midway through the race then, you see the way it's developed. And Jeff Emig on the 500, his first race on the 500, don't forget, down to second place. As Steve Lamson has gone past on the 125. But look at this. Sebastian Tortelli on his 125, closing ever more strongly. And could this become a 3-way battle for the lead? Tortelli certainly wants to make it that way. And the French fans would be delighted if he could do so. Lachia 22 is still fourth. Bolle closing on him. So the USA doing very well indeed. France looking quite competitive. Bolle closing, looking for that fourth place. And down goes Britain's Rob Herring. Down, and this time definitely out. He's not going to get up from that fall. Well, he's got up, but he's not going to rejoin from that fall. And Bolle is up into fourth. Lachia behind him there. You can see him just in shot. There he goes. So some great riding from the French. Frédéric Bolle leaving Dietmar Lachia behind him. Here come the lead pairing. Still Lamson leading Emig. And Sebastian Tortelli couldn't be much closer, could he really? He really is ripping into their lead battle. And now Sebastian Tortelli looks as if he is up for second position. There's the leader, Lamson. There's second place, Emig, opened up a couple of meters again and getting the big hurry up from the crowd. Maybe one of the team there on the side of the track was Sebastian Tortelli rather, in second place now, having passed Jeff Emig. And moving up, Stefan Everts into an unbelievable 5th place on lap 13. Don't forget, he fell on the first corner, was taken out on the first corner in the big collision. And the sensational riding from the Belgian will finally move him up into 4th position by the end. Bolle behind him in 5th. and Lacher in 6th. Shane King not doing too well, I'm afraid. The 500cc world champion, only 7th. So a tough time for some of the top countries. Holland, Gijsber's there, only 8th. Tractor just 11th, and they're going to find it very tough indeed getting into the top 5. And a bad start for Italy as well. Chiodi 13th and Rossi 26th, a lap down on the leaders at the end. Absolutely calamitous, and no better, I'm afraid, either for the team from Great Britain. Their hopes have really gone. Rob Herring we saw retire, and Malin only 15th. So Paul Malin, the sole British representative here, and their chances of beating the Americans or anybody else, I'm afraid, this time, pretty much nil. So the leader still Steve Lamson, but right behind him, and look how close he's getting now, Sebastian Tortelli. Any mistake by Tortelli, though, Jeff Emig is following closely, and he'll capitalise on it. But it looks as though, with the checkered flag beckoning, it's victory in race 1 for the USA. Steve Lamson beats Sebastian Tortelli, Jeff Emig and Stefan Everts.
Start, considering with the 500s, and I just rode good. I looked ahead, my bike, my Honda worked great, and everything, couldn't ask for anything better. I rode a really good, smooth race.
Well, I got caught in the crash at the beginning, said Sebastian Tortelli, and I had to stop and sort of restart it a bit late down. And I was close to Steve, but I made too many mistakes on lap 1, landing on the front wheel, missing a few of the corners completely. And I think I was very nervous to start with, especially after the jitters of the crash. But once I calmed down, I came right up behind him, another 2 or 3 laps maybe, and you never know, I might have got him. But still, there's one more race to go. Well, bad news in the Belgian team. Jos Smets retiring early, and Everts only 4th, but it could have been worse, much worse than that. But I think they feel the title might be slipping away from them.
Maybe we still have an opportunity to win, but you know, Marnik has to definitely win a race, and maybe 1 second. We're gonna try to do our best, and it takes a lot of luck to win Motocross of Nations, so it's still not done. You know, we still have 2 races to go.
Well, fighting spirit from them, Steve Lamson and Sebastian Tortelli, the first pair on the 125s ahead of Jeff Emig. More action after the break. Welcome back. Well, before we get into the second of the 3 races for the Motocross des Nations, let's look at a couple of the faces around the paddock. 2 guys responsible for some of the race service trucks. Marc Dufresne runs a service truck handling Scott goggles, CD boots, Agip oils and a whole lot of other things.
Racing service is to take care of all the riders, to give them the best service we can, to help them with all the material they need, and to help them in preparing goggles and boots and whatever. So, and on the track to see if everything is okay. If they have a problem, we are there to help them. Also, the special things also, when they need a special part to make for the bike, a factory bike or a skid plate, we make them, and then I have spare parts with me. If ever something happens, we still have something in the truck for them.
Another one of them is run by Dave Grant, Stefan Everts' manager. He handles UFO, BF, Rental, Boyerson and various different others as well. And really, this is a bit of a rider's supermarket. Again, spare parts for the machines, high on the list of options.
We carry all the brake pads, brake lines, cables from Ven Hill, everything. Renthal handlebars, as you can see on the banner. Everything that's on the banner up there, we carry their parts. And as the riders crash with the handlebars or the bike breaks down, so we supply them with the parts as they need them. We do a system where they come and sign for it, and they just take it free of charge. And many times, like with some of the plastics, we take them back, the old plastics back, or the old handlebars will go back for testing. It's just a continual program of development, research, and working with the riders.
So let's have a look at race 2 then, the 125s and the 250s. Everybody holding them on the clutch, and away they go. And this big field sweeping down into the first corner. Will they get through closely? Will they get through safely? No, a couple of them down. That's 38 Jorgensen and Dupasquier, 57. And is that Stefan Tortelli? It is Stefan Tortelli, number 9. Stuck with Slovenian rider Krajl. And, well, that's a very big disappointment for Tortelli. The 125 world champion. He had a great race first time out. But where is he? There he is, off the bike, right in the top corner of the screen. You can see 74 is tangled up with him. Now out front, Belgium looking rather more convincing here. Marnik Burberts here on 2, leading from Jeremy McGrath. And the rest of the field streaming through. So who have we got? McGrath out front. And was that Bartolini or Pit Byra? I think maybe Pit Byra. There is Yves Demaria in about 8th place as the field streams through, and it's very close going indeed. That was Lamson, and down is Kuchar, the Czech rider. Let's have a look at his crash. Oh dear, a very heavy front wheel landing indeed. And no wonder he doesn't want to get back on the bike after that one. So lap 2, McGrath on 5. And the clock ticks away before we get Burberts in 2nd place again. Bartolini it was, 3rd place for Italy, and then Pit Byra in 4th, so there's been a reshuffle there in the top 4. Well, in 2nd, 3rd and 4th, certainly. Van Ries was 14, and Yves Demaria in 7th place. 6th place, rather. And not for long. So McGrath really clearing off and leaving them all to it. Burberts there in 2nd place. 3rd is 53, Bartolini. 4th, 23, Byra, and there moving up, even as we watch, is Yves Demaria up into 5th place. 3 times US Supercross champion Jeremy McGrath, clearly in his element on this circuit and really racing away. Lap 4, and look at the huge gap that he's got. Just look at the style of this man. McGrath might be wowing the crowd, but 2nd place, there's a fairly tough battle going on. Burberts for Belgium and Bartolini for Italy. Number 2, number 53, there they are. And behind them a battle for 4th as well. Pit Byra, and right on his tail, Steve Lamson of the USA. So Germany-USA is the battle for 4th place. And Lamson comes out the winner on midway round, lap 4, lap 6 rather, he takes 4th place. This is Yves Demaria, and he fell out of 5th place on lap 4, restarted 15th, and having to fight his way up past David Avila we saw there, and a whole host of other riders. Eventually Demaria will come home in 12th, but that's not good for France. But a huge comeback ride for Sebastian Tortelli. Again, 33rd at the end of lap 1, and that was going some to recover from the start. Up into 11th by this stage, just before the midway point on the race, and hounding Stefan Everts and passing him as well. So moving up very rapidly indeed. What could he do if he didn't have those 2 problems at the beginning of the race? He would certainly be a favourite for outright honours. Lap 9, Jeremy McGrath seems to have it all under control until this moment. Just misjudges the camel's hump, and down he goes. Gets back onto the machine, kicking it away, and there goes the new leader. McGrath down into second place. So let's see it. He just doesn't manage to match the compression on the bike as he takes off, and the bike spits him out. So Marnik Berberts of Belgium leads now. Jeremy McGrath of the USA in second place. And neither of them are going to give this up easily. A big battle now for the lead. But the Belgian under intense pressure because McGrath is coming back at him ever more quickly. And finally, very deft passing manoeuvre through that little flick-flack chicane. Jeremy McGrath grabs the lead again. So McGrath 1, Berberts 2. Behind them, Bartolini 3. And Lamson 4, there he goes. But not for long, because Lamson is third just before the 20-minute time. So just 3 laps from home, he grabs third place. Bartolini down to fourth place. And behind them, the battle for fifth. Well, Pit Byra, sleeves rolled up, he means business. And then Sebastian Tortelli chasing him down, and Stefan Everts looking actually a little out of sorts here. Never quite able to catch the lead group. But Pit Byra falls foul to the charging Tortelli, and Tortelli moves up into fifth. Just at the 20-minute mark, 2 laps to go. Number 20, King finishing 8th in front of Van Ries, but McGrath it is who's going to take victory for the United States team. Getting yelled on all the way is Marnik Berberts. But unless McGrath drops it again, he's got the win. And there it is. Delighted, I'm sure, with that, as will be the American team. Berberts second, and Steve Lamson third.
Our team's really good this year. We feel really strong, and you know, hopefully we can have another race like that one next time.
And in the beginning, I was not finding my rhythm, and yeah, that was maybe the problem. But then suddenly I came to the second place, and he crashed. So there it was. We were close racing again, but then I had some problems with the lap riders. And that big jump, he could jump it, and I couldn't jump it anymore. And then he makes some meters on me, and then it was 2 laps, so it was over. But he was really fast.
Well, Tortelli beat Lamson last year. Surprisingly, Lamson has had his revenge twice now on the Frenchman. Well, the problem at the start, he said, was one of the Slovenian riders crashed into me, and his foot peg was stuck in my rear wheel. I tried to get him to keep cool and move the bike out of the way, but he didn't understand what I was saying, and that really slowed me down, obviously, at the start. Well, this year, Steve won both the races. That's good for him, but I'll get him one day. So there you go, McGrath, Berberts and Lamson. So the USA scoring extremely well indeed. Well, maybe Tortelli will get his revenge at Nîmes in Belgium for the 97 nations. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, we'll bring you that on Eurosport, but as Claude Danny says, they were there in Spain for 2 reasons. First, to see how it all works, and also, of course, because Belgium are the reigning champions. Maybe we won't keep the title, but we've got to come and cheer on our riders anyway. The organisers for the year 2000 were there as well, getting in some advanced publicity, and that's going to be in Saint-Jean-d'Angélé in France. And they were here for promotional purposes and also to learn about what's going on. And as René Paul Lacley says, we're here to see what goes well and what doesn't. It's such a tough event to organise, and with the year 2000 coming up, we've got to really do a good job. We'll be back in a moment. Let's move on then to the final race, the 250s and the 500s. And away they go down to the first corner. Can they get through cleanly this time? It looks as though it's been a much better start. And out front, well, Shane King, number 19. Jeff Emig, number 4, look to have the lead, but King blasts through. And a superb opening session from the Kiwi. Jeremy McGrath now moves up into second, Jeff Emig third, and the Belgians going very well. Beverts and Smets both up there in the top 6 at the moment. Yves de Maria for France in 4th place. And Lasher in there as well. So King and McGrath. And McGrath grabs the lead. Lap 3, McGrath leads, King second and third, and right on his rear wheel is the Belgian Beverts. There's de Maria in 5th place. So Jeremy McGrath opening up his customary early lead. And now up into 2nd place goes Marnik Beverts. So this is looking better for Belgium. They're really going to have to go some. The Americans are both going to have to retire to change the course of the event here. But Beverts is giving it everything he can. And where's Shane King gone? He's completely disappeared. 3rd is Yves de Maria. 4th is Jeff Emig. There is Shane King. Now, he must have a problem of some kind. It can't just be all down to the rider, not this early in the event. So Shane King slipping down the order, but moving up, Joel Smets. Bollet fell, 21st position at the moment after his first lap fall, but fighting back. And this is vital because although 1st place is almost certain tied up, 2nd place is still open, and France and Belgium are in the hunt at the moment. McGrath with his huge lead, running now towards maybe the 3rd US victory out of 3 races. And that title, the Nations Motocross title, is very close to being completely sewn up by America. Let's just watch him in action for a moment. Well, no doubting the leader unless he falls again. 2nd place. Belgium looking stronger now because Beverts is starting to pull away from 3rd place de Maria. So Belgium in the driving seat in their battle with France. 4th, Jeff Emig, but right behind him, Pit Beirer of Germany. Beirer wants to go out on a high in this one. He'd love to be able to challenge up into the top 3. And in fact, he moves past after a 6-lap battle. And Emig has no answer to that. He'll finish in 5th place. This group, 10th was Darrell King, 11th Rob Herring from Britain. Lasher, Dobb and Bollet in 14th place, but he's making superb progress here. And a lap later, up into 8th place, having passed 3 riders. 4th position directly ahead of him on that lap. So Frederic Bollet riding hard. And in fact, he's moving up at such a rate that he will finish in 6th place. Bervet 2nd, Demaria 3rd. But no chance of them catching this man, Jeremy McGrath, unless he has a mechanical problem or some other similar disaster. And just look at the way he's playing to the crowd on this final lap. You can almost imagine him signing autographs in midair. And through he comes, no question of the winner. No question who's going to take the nation's motocross. Jeremy McGrath, Jeff Emig and Steve Lamson, the United States of America.
Well, you know, I tried really hard that time. The bike was working good. And, you know, everything was perfect for me. It was great. Loved it.
I'm happy about that. You know, we finally get the trophy back. It's been a long time, for 3 years now. And I think this year we had a great team, and that's what happened.
Superb riding by all the Americans. Jeremy McGrath winning that race from Bervet, Demaria, Byra. Jeff Emig in 5th place, really backing up the American representation here. And Frederick Bolle taking 6th. And perhaps the proudest man in the place, Jack McGrath.
Scoring system, we'd have nothing but aces today. 6 in a row. That's awesome. They're the greatest riders in the world. I'm very proud. Actually, this is a milestone for America. You know, we've been kind of talked down for the last couple of years, and I think it was a lot due to a little bad luck, and a little bad luck goes a long ways. Today we had a little bad luck. We recovered. We came over here. We took care of business.
Well, straight wins from all their riders, from the Americans, in their categories and overall. Good result for the French team as well. Tortelli, Bolle and Demaria taking 2nd overall ahead of the Belgians. We came here to win, says Yves Demaria. And if you look at it all day long, Lamson beating Tortelli, McGrath beating me and Emig beating Bolle. I think that is a fair representation. 2nd overall is the best that there was after the Americans. And that's us.
Bon, on s'est tous crachés dans les mains et on a obtenu cette 2e place. Je crois que c'est quand même une bonne journée.
Reigning champions Belgium, only 3rd overall. Big disappointment for all 3 riders, I guess.
We needed so badly to win the championship of Motocross of Nations, but this track, I think it was a little bit more Supercross than before, and we are not used to it, and especially Joel with the 4-stroke. I think it's not so good here for a 4-stroke, but anyway, that's racing, and hopefully next year in Belgium it should be better for us.
Well, they'll be looking for that. The German team celebrating a superb 4th overall. Absolutely delighted with their progress. So the top 6 teams then, the USA with just 9 points. Superb riding. France on 21, Belgium not too far away, Germany, Holland and New Zealand. And very close indeed outside the top 3 there.
It was a great show. We saw some exciting races. I would have been happy if we could have had more spectators, because a race like this deserves 20, 25, 30,000 spectators. But we saw great races, and we saw finally the best team winning, and we must admit that the Americans are #1.
Well, no arguing with that, I'm afraid. And from Jerez and from the Motocross of Nations until next year, leaving with some highlights of the action, I'm Martin Haven from Eurosport. Bye-bye.